Hey, Kyle, hopefully you can hear me. I got a new mic here, so I'm just testing it out. Um, First, congrats. And what made you, as you went on and talked to folks, whether it's Kevin or your family, what made you decide you wanted to go another year? And how much was it that your teammates wanted you back?
Um, well, to be honest with you, I realized pretty quickly after the season. I took a couple weeks and just allowed myself to decompress and emotionally reset. And like you said, I talked to the people that are around me that are in the inner circle, and I knew that my teammates would like me back, and that was definitely a factor. But it was just sitting down with my wife Danielle and figuring out what the next step would look like. And it became pretty evident in those conversations that I wanted to play and I was going to come back. And so it happened decently fast.
Hey, Kyle, John Worrell, how you doing?
Hey, John, good. How about you?
I'm good. Just got off the golf course, so all's good. Um, Congratulations. How much is this also some unfinished business for you, knowing that you came here looking to accomplish something and that job's unfinished, and with this team on the precipice, how much is that unfinished business for you?
Well, thanks, John.
You're welcome.
And morning at the golf course is a good morning, so I'll start with that. But there is definitely some unfinished business for sure. And I've been through a lot here, as everybody on this call knows, and I just think we're scratching the surface. And I think that it's pretty evident by what's happened in the playoffs this year that we're not very far from reaching the top of the mountain. And it's something that I had set out to do when I had my introductory press conference, and I did not know how much work was going to have to go into it, but I think that we're extremely close. So definitely some unfinished business, and personally, I would like to be a lot better as well.
Thanks.
Lance, you're on mute, I think.
Yeah, sorry, Lance, we can't hear you.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Gotcha now.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Congratulations off the bat. When you think back to last season, I mean, when you were reflecting on what you wanted to do in the future, I mean, I guess how rewarding was it to see that, I mean, the impact that you had and on all the younger players on this team, not only on the ice, but where you were able to help them up off the ice. And how did that sort of motivate you to come back and continue to help build?
It was a lot. I mean, you guys obviously aren't privy to the conversations that I have with these guys every day, but knowing that I can have an impact on people's lives in a positive way. Um, forget hockey for a second. Just the fact that, you know, you have a role to be a leader, to be a role model, and to be with these people every day. And they're all such good people. And I think that if you can have that impact on somebody's life, that is so rewarding for me as a person. Like I love teaching. I love um, coaching, for lack of a better term, these people to be the best people that they can be. And that's what I try and do every day. And I just try and set it as good of an example as I can. And so it's definitely rewarding to see the progress that we have made as people and as hockey players as well. I think our team, it shows in the way that we play on the ice. So yeah, last year was definitely a rewarding one.
Good morning, Kyle. Thanks for jumping on here. Appreciate it. You made a quick reference to it a couple minutes ago, so I want to dive into that a little more here. The world is abuzz with Florida Panthers talk now, and you guys were right there with them all the way to April 4th. What is your takeaway, your lesson from the Panthers? And secondly, what's your thought on what looked like is going to be a Jack versus Sam final, that they're finally going to get that chance?
Well, I'll answer the second part first. They're both good friends. Jack and Sam are both good people. They're good friends of mine. I'm happy for both of them in the success that they've had individually and as a team. And obviously Jack's not there yet. Sam punched his ticket last night, but I'm happy for both those guys, first of all. And to answer your question about Florida, I'll just speak a little bit about us. And I touched on it earlier, but we can't be scared of the expectations. There's going to be expectations next year. You guys know it. Last year there was no expectations, and everybody's writing rosy articles, and this group is a good team. It's becoming a good team, and that's great. But how do you do that with expectations? There's guys that are starting to get bigger contracts. There's guys that are starting to get noticed nationally. There's going to be lofty expectations next year, and I think that we can't run from that. You have to set your goal. And should our goal be to make the playoffs? Should our goal be to be 2 points better than we were this year? No, that's expected. That's expected now. And so you set the goal of winning a Stanley Cup, and then you don't touch that. You don't run and you don't let that weigh you down at all from the day to day in the season. You set that goal, you know that it's there, and then you build from that. And then you take every day at a time and you get better. Like Kevin has always said, like Donnie says, you want to get better every day. But we cannot run from those expectations anymore. Like the time is now. The time is like I said, our window is, I think it's opening, and we have to be prepared for that. And everybody's got to come better, starting with me. And I think that's an expectation we have to set.
And just how shocked are you to see the Panthers beat Boston and Toronto and Carolina?
They've been playing playoff games for 2 months. I mean, I think that the Boston series, I watched the first round very closely, and it was that series was the most interesting to me because, obviously Boston was a machine all year, and they were the best team in the league by a mile. But Florida had been playing playoff games for a month and a half. They had already played a game 7 when they played us down in Florida. That was a game 7. It was tight. It was, nobody wanted to make a mistake. Everybody knew what was at stake in that game. And we came out on the short end of it, and that was so difficult for us. But that was their first taste of it. They had been doing that for 2 months. And I think that Boston, they hadn't played a meaningful game in, I don't know, since October. Like they just ran over everybody in the league. And I think that once they lost game 6, and you kind of looked at their faces, and it was like, oh boy, we're one loss away from being out of this thing after the season that we just had. And I think it's really hard to get over that hump psychologically when you haven't been in that situation. And I think Florida's been in there for 2 months, and Boston really hadn't had a taste of that.
Thanks, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. Congratulations. Just, you as a player, 4 or 5 years ago, you started making a transition into a kind of a different role. You still score goals, but you changed, I guess. How have you evolved, and what helped you kind of embrace that change that a lot of players can't make, I guess?
I just think I try not to have any sort of ego because I think that's detrimental to your team's culture. If you have a bunch of egos, like it's just not going to be as seamless, and the culture is not going to be as good. So I tried to do whatever was asked of me and do it to the best of my ability. But and part of that this year was playing defense, and I think that Z and I and Krebsy for a lot of the year we just tried to really embrace that role and do it the best that we could. And in saying that, like I touched on before, like I wasn't as good offensively as I think that I could have been, and that stings for me. Um, and so I'm gonna work on some different things this summer to try and make sure that that doesn't happen again. But it's just doing what is required for the team. And this year we were one of the top scoring teams in the league, and we needed a little bit more attention to detail on the defensive end, and I tried to provide that.
Thank you.
Morning, Kyle. Congratulations. I'm curious what was different about this decision for you. Obviously, you're kind of weighing whether to play or not to play, but from previous contract negotiations, just having your kids be old enough to kind of maybe want to see dad keep playing, or just being at this stage in your life, what was maybe different about this decision?
Sorry. So my son Odie was the first one to find out, and I got a call, and I was in my bedroom. I was about to put him to bed, and saying that the deal was done. And so he comes out and he just brushed his teeth, and I looked at him and I told him that I'm going to come back and play another year, and his reaction was worth it. And sometimes I forget how much it means to them, to especially my older two kids. And I told Ellie about 20 minutes later, she was driving back from getting ready for a dance recital, and I went for a walk, and her and Danielle pulled up in the car, and she I told them, and then when I heard them driving away, I heard her scream so loud because they were just so happy and excited. And so it definitely is a huge factor in my decision making, your family, because you're not just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about them and what this means to them as well.
Thanks, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle, John Warren once again. That's a great story. And it kind of segues into what I was going to ask you. Did you just want a one-year deal? And is it a year-by-year thing now for you, as far as your future goes? Is that how you approach it now?
Yeah, it's year by year. We'll see how my body feels and go from there. I wouldn't be ready to commit to more than one season at a time, beyond this point.
Good. Thank you.
Kyle, as you look at some of your teammates and some of the guys who will be your teammates, they're still playing right now. I mean, are you excited to see JJ Peterka right now with 9 points at the World Championships in 7 games, and what the Rochester Americans are doing in the conference finals? Kulik, he's played 7 playoff games. He has points in all of them. I mean, just to see, does it excite you to see the experiences, the postseason experiences that so many of your young players are getting right now?
Absolutely. I think first of all, you have to give credit to Kevin, for that one, and how he has helped the organization from the top down, and really put an emphasis on prospects, on getting those type of experiences, and you see it in Rochester and how it's built. And obviously Jason Carmanos has a big hand in that as well. And it's great to see. It's awesome to see our organization having these experiences, having these successes. And I mean, it's not going to hurt. It's never going to hurt you down the road. So it's fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch these young kids grow up and see what they become. And I think that we're set up extremely well as an organization. Obviously, we have a lot of cap space. We have a lot of prospects. We have a lot of things going for us. And I've definitely been following Rochester and been a huge fan along the way.
Any other questions for Kyle? All right, I think we're all set. Thanks for the time today, Kyle.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.